Okay. Hello everyone and welcome to Odoo live webinar. This is Ken, the marketing officer here at Odoo Hong Kong, and I will be your host for today's webinar. And today we have Eric, the business advisor here also at Odoo Hong Kong, to discuss everything you need to know about Odoo when you get started when using Odoo. And then this webinar will, excuse me. And this webinar will last for around 45 minutes to an hour. And if you have any question related to these topics, you can feel free to leave your question at the left-hand side. And then Eric will help me to get them at the end of our section during the Q&A. And if you like to view this webinar again, you can simply click the URL of this webinar once the live event has finished, and then you can watch it anytime you want. And thank you all again for your joining, and then let's get started for our webinar. And Eric, all yours.
Yeah, okay. Thank you, Ken. So I think I'll share my screen to you as you can see it here. So at the first time, as Ken introduced, I'm here today as a webinar. I'm the business advisor for the APAC region or in Odoo Hong Kong office. So what I do with my customer is I will understand the customer business pain points, like example, what is his requirement toward the system that he want to find. And then we will discuss more on after I get their requirements, I will discuss with them what can Odoo do. The requirements will align with the Odoo features and the capabilities, which will help him to decide which of the ERP system that he is suitable for. And then after that, we will suggest the best practice. For example, because of every customer and their business operation, their workflow is very different and a distinction. So what I can suggest is how they can use this Odoo with the best workflow and reduce their costs like that. So the first of our agenda here, I will introduce you with what is the Odoo, and then we'll do the demonstration, and after that we will bump into Q&A session. And the first, what is Odoo? As you can see here, actually Odoo is the one management software which is interconnected and linked, and it will be easy to use. As you see that we have improved our UI design as much as possible. And then here is the first thing that I would like to mention as our CEO Fabian Pinkers. Actually, the first time of Odoo is established by 25. So our mission actually is help the companies to grow by the tools that the best tool that they have to use. And now we have supported to 32 languages. As in here, as a Pacific, I'm very sure that our customer will be many languages like Vietnamese, Chinese, Indonesian, English, and everything. So we are all supported. As you can see here, this is our Odoo team, which from the worldwide. And then for now, we have already 4.1 million users, including the community and the enterprise version. After that, for the community and enterprise on-premise, we have 2,500 installed per day. And then for the customer growth in the Asia Pacific region, especially in our Hong Kong office, we have achieved approximately to 1,500 user growth. It means that every year our user for enterprise, whether it's on-premise or online SaaS version, we will keep increase. And of course, in here we do have 7 offices worldwide. As you can see it here, like in the US we have 2 offices. In the headquarters Europe, we have 3 offices. And of course, in Asia Pacific, we have 2 offices, including now we are doing the webinar in Hong Kong office. And for most of you know that actually Odoo is the open source, so we give the chance for our developers around worldwide to develop the third-party apps, which is not included in the basic function of the Odoo. So till now we have 17,000. And the second is the clients that using the Odoo. As you can see it here that we have a reference for the large enterprise to the SMEs, that this is the customer that use, to name a few like that. After that, all of the apps that we have, we categorize it for 4 categories. As the first is website. For a website thing, we have covered like the website builder, the e-commerce, the live chat, help desk appointment. So for example, that if you are managing an online business, what you can do is using our website builder to build your website. Our website builder is support to multi-website, so in each website you have your own domain like that, and then you can have your shop, the e-commerce for customer to go to your shop and buy and check out like that. Of course, it will link to the sales app, which and for example, like you are doing the B2B sales or B2C in on-site, what your sales team need is the sales and the CRM and the invoicing like that. And we do support the retailer for the POS. And then for the operation, we do cover like the accounting, the project, the HR, which included the requirement, employees, and etc. Also, we do cover the stock management for the inventory and the purchase. And the letters are the most important, I think. For the manufacturing part, we do have the manufacturing, so you can manage your life, for example, like the bill of materials, your production order, and like that. And for productivity tools, we do have like the communication to for you internal company to communicate, and also we have the mailing list, the email marketing, the survey like that. So basically, it's like the company operation, business operation, for most of them we all cover. And here is the example for why we call the all-in-one solution in Odoo, is because we integrate. For example, like you are the online shop company, you are the company which sells through the online, and then you have the B2B sales through the on-site, and then you have a retail. So what in here is the apps that interconnected with each other. From the for example, I just pick the inventory, you fill out the product, which can be used in the POS, in the e-commerce, in the sales, when you create a quotation and just click to create the product like that. And after that, this is the benefit why you need to use the Odoo. As you know, the first I will start from the cost. You can see from our pricing page that our price actually is transparent, so you don't need to afraid of there will be the hidden cost, because before you pay, you already know how much you have to pay. And then we are faster implementation, like because we are already well developed. So what you do need to do is just to register for the online SaaS version, and then you can use it on the fly. And then in here for the SaaS version, we do guarantee the SLA through 90.99 version, which we will do the backup for you, 1 backup per day in the 3 continents. After that, we can customize it, of course, like in Odoo, we do have the studio apps, which will customize the forms, the formats, and the template like that. No code knowledge necessary. And then, for example, you want to customize much advanced one, then you have to contact us to know about this, how to customize it. Like we will tell you the cost and what is the implementation like that. After that, it's easy to use, fully integrated. So here, the topic of today is everything you need to know to get started with Odoo. The key points that I would like to mention the demo later is the first, how to set up your online database and introduce you to the standard apps of the Odoo, and then we will go through the basic productivity, like for example, like importing and exporting the data. And then I'll show you the quick, like how in the Odoo, how the apps works together, maybe in CRM to sales and invoicing like that. So I think now we will jump into the demo. So the first thing, as you can see it here, what you will need to do is you to access to odoo.com, and here you have 2 options, like you start now or try it for free. So you have to click it to start your trial, and then you just pick up one or many apps that you would like to trial to test it out, or you want to set up a database. For example, I just picked one of them is CRM. I can also pick the sales or invoicing, but for now I just pick one and then click configure. So in here you have to fill out the information, for example, what is your name and your email and your company. For example, I just pick the company is maybe internet company. This is for example. I just pick this and you fill it. Of course, this company name is your, when you created with this field information, it means that your company actually is this. You will have settings on the database later. Because for now it's just for demo, so I just randomly chose like that, and you just click start now and it will click on the fly. But in Odoo, I do have to mention that if you create a database, and what you need to do is to activate it via email. It's because we have said that for the customer, I mean that for someone who registered in the database, if they did not active so your database in 4 hours, it will be deleted. So I have to go to my email and I see. As you can see later in this notice will be disappear after you have activated. So it's also for Odoo we do have the users, right? So in the first page of the activation, you will see that it will tell you to invite your colleagues or the users that they want to use. For example, I just invite one of my private email. Let's just assume this is the person that I want to invite him. Sorry, this is for email. And after that, they will send invite to this person, and this person have to sign it up. So basically, this is just a very easy step to set up your database. And now we will jump to Odoo database for now. You can see here is the landing page of the Odoo. What you got in here is like the basic standard apps of Odoo, including Discuss, Calendar, Contacts, apps and setting. Of course, CRM is not included because just now I just installed it. And then at the top right, you have got the activity icon, which for example, like in CRM, if I schedule an activity, so it will appear to here. Later I will show you, this will be explained later. And then you got the message conversation icon, which is actually is the Discuss. And of course, for managing your database, the first I will go to is my odoo.com account. Is because actually for Odoo we do manage like one email you register, you can manage many database. So what I have to do is to go to my account. Oh, sorry, it's my database. So in here you can see that I have created so many database to demo to my customer. And this is the one now that in the internet company that created for a webinar. So what you can do at here is there is a few options that you can duplicate your database in case for your test. For example, like you want to set up this database as your real database using, but you still don't know how to use it. For example, so for now I will suggest you to duplicate first, so it will create the intercompany one. So what you will test is the intercompany one, not in the real database that you are gonna to use. And then you can rename this database, do the backup. Actually, we do the backup for you automatically, but you can also backup by yourself. For example, like you have backup, you're using the SaaS version, and then whenever you want to recover, you can just restore. And you can set your domain. As you can see that this is actually the domain from Odoo, but for example, like you just want to use the internetcompany.com, then you can change in this domain and you can delete your database. And for example, you meet the problem that you cannot access the database or what, you can contact the support. So I think this will be the introduction of the managing your database. Now we will jump to this Odoo. And here, before I would like to start with the setting first, is because settings is the most basic way if you have started to using the Odoo. So you can see the setting, you get a submenu of the dashboard, user and company. user and company, you can like for users you can add the user and manage their access right, and for companies you can add the companies or change the company information. Of course, because we do support the multi company features, so usually if you want to create a new company, I mean the additional company, you need to go to the settings. And then we got the translation. For example, like the default language that I select just now is English. So what you need to add, for example, like you want your user to use the Chinese language, to use the Indonesian language, to use the Vietnamese language. So you need to load the translation in here or here, and then you change in the user settings. So the first I will introduce you to the install apps. Like in here is the 4 install apps. So what you want to, maybe you want to add a new apps that you feel necessary. For example, like I would like to install the sales. In here we do got so easy way for you to search. For example, like you see here so many apps, and then you lost it like where is the sales located? You just search in here for sales, and then it will appear. Because in sales we do have bundle like they need invoicing. After all, if you don't choose the invoicing for the sales, will cannot be issue a quotation or issue a sales order customer. That's why it bundled together. So now I'm just practically install the apps for you guys to know how to install the apps in the Odoo. Need to wait a few seconds. Is there a problem with internet? I don't know why it's so long. Okay, now it functions. As you can see now, sales invoicing already installed. So we go back to here, like you want to add user. Actually what you need to do is we have already make it so easily for other users to invite. You just type your the person that you want to invite to this database email address, and you just go invite. Like here I've already invite my own private email, which let's just assume is anybody. And then for the companies, I think what you can do for the users, what you can do is manage their access right. Like from here, actually I'm the admin, and then for this person I want to limitation him, like he cannot see the settings, so I just choose this to, I just remove it. And then for the sales, for example, he's a sales manager, then I can set his as a manager in here to see all the pipelines and manage the documents. And because he is the sales manager and he cannot see the accounting side, so I just let him be for example, I just remove his access right like this. Well, this is the basic way to manage your access right. We do have the advanced function which you have to active your developer mode, and then it will have much more option. But usually this will be configured by our functional consultant if you have like bind our success plan. Of course you can try yourself if you want to set up. And then for preferences, as I said just now, you can set the language to another language for this user. So in Odoo we don't bind the database for one language. We do give the preference, the options for every user to choose their language accordingly. And then you can set like the messaging notification will be handled by the system or handled by the email, and set your signatures. Because in Odoo we do merge with our mailbox, so what the signature appear here is you can send the email to your person, I mean to your internal or your customer within the system. So what I will go to now is the company. What you need to do is to fill your company information. Like here you do got the address, the website, the tax ID, the currency. It's because now I created just now using the Hong Kong country, so the currency is appeared as HKD. But you can change also like what you want, and then you can add your logo. I'm pretty sure that for example I just add one of these. For example, I just add one of these as the logo, and then it appears. And then I think this is the company name, and then you can create a new company. For example, like you have the multi-company features where you have to active through the general setting, and then you create a new company like this. So we'll maintain the two companies, which will move the icon in here. You can choose which of the companies that you want to access. So now I believe that in the settings is already sufficient for you. What I want to do now is like in this I will introduce you to the standard apps of Odoo, like you can see here in the discuss. Actually, discuss is much more function as the internal communication for a company. For example, like for a company you do got many department for like purchasing department, accounting department, sales department. So what you can do is add the channels in here. For example, I just click on the purchase department, and then all of the employee that is the purchase you can add in here, so you all can discuss the work matters and like that. And you can also directly message to your to your colleagues within the direct message in here. Just type user. Of course, they need to be the user in the systems in order for you to send them the message. And here is the calendar. Actually, the calendar in Odoo, we do integrate it with the Google Calendar. So if you need to activate it within the setting and set the API, the connector. So after you create like for example meeting in here, and there will be appear one button like sync to the Google Calendar, and then you click in it, so it will sync to your Google Calendar. So the first part, this contact form actually is the basic and the default apps of our Odoo, but in here you have start like your contact information, for example the customer, the vendor, your partner, or even your employee information. And then what you need to do for the contact, actually you can create a new one, and also you can import. First time I will create a new one first. As you can see in here, we do differentiate like is this contact information is the individual or the company. So if the individual, you can fill their name, and then you choose what is their company working with, which company they are working for. Of course, you can choose just company. So this is the company where you have to fill in the information and the phone and like that. All the information is included here. And here we do got the sub menu of the contact and address. Actually, for Odoo we do differentiate. For example, this company, you do have a different contact. Like for example, this company contact address is A, and then the invoice address is B, the shipping address is C. So you can add them accordingly. So when you create in the quotation, it will appear like the contact person is A, shipment address is B, and invoice address is C, like that. And of course, you can add the image like their company logo or picture, like that. And here at the top, you get the smart button. This is where the Odoo part interest. The Odoo parts are really interesting. It's because in the contact form, you already got opportunities. Is the CRM. You already connected to the CRM. You already connected to the calendar. You already connected to the sales, invoice, and other etc. like that. So whenever you install the apps, the connected apps will appear in the smart button in here. Maybe now I will just type, for example, I use this my own company, Odoo Limited, and then I just fill my phone, I just fill my email address, I just fill my country location. So I believe this is the contact form when you are using the creating. And then if you say that your contact list have like 1,000 above or 10,000 above, how it is actually not impossible to create one by one because it will consuming so many time. That's why we have the import function. You can import using the Excel file or the CSV file that we already prepared, as you can see in here. For example, like you guys still don't know how to do, you can go to the import FAQ to see how to import the data. But for now, I will show you. You just need to click import template for the customer. So this will appear like the template in the, I believe this is the Excel file. You just click in it and edit. So here you got like the external ID for a partner, the name, the company type, whether they are company or individual, the related company. For a related company actually is for the individual, is because if you are set them as individual, then you will have to connect them like actually this individual is related to which company. That's why here have, and for the company type, which is company, they don't have the related company. And then for the address type, you can say here contact or other address or shipping or invoice address like that. And then the street 1, street 2, the city, the information of the address. Also you got the website, the phone, the mobile, and the email. Of course, actually this is according to the field that has been set in the contact form. For example, like you modify the contact form, then after you click on the import template, then it will modify according to what you have modified before. So I will just using this template as the example to import. I just load file. I believe just now is the REST partner 2 which I created now. Yeah. So whenever you click on import, it will appear on here, and actually you can choose what of the type or the field that you don't want to import it. For example, I just choose I don't want to import maybe their country, like I just click don't import, the zip code don't import. And before import, I will suggest you to using this function test import first, because this test import is like actually to test what is it your importation of this data is have any problem or not. And then I think I have no problem. I just click on the import, and now you can see here on the fly like already all of them already imported. So now I will explain like what you got in the contact apps in here. For the first, you have the search, which you can search your contact information by for example, like you got here 1,000 or 10,000 contacts, and you cannot search by one using the list view or even the Kanban view. That's why you need to get a search. You just click, for example, I search for myself. And then the thing that I see is very useful for everyone using the Odoo is we have the filter function and the group by function. So what is the filter function? It's like for example, in the contact information, you do got the vendors, you got the customer, you got the partners, and then there will be the same name or like a similar name, and then you have to choose whether this you want to see like I want just to see the customer side, so you just filter the customer. It will appear all of them is the customer. And you can also set this customer actually they are individuals or the companies. Also you can add a custom filter, which you see that you want to use the custom filter to filter what of the function that you want. You just click in it and apply. Also we got the group by function, which for example like you group by company, you can see that this is the company, their contact information. And of course you can group by country and like add a custom group which of the field that you would like. After that you can save as the waivers. For example, I just my favorite of the viewing these contact apps is to filter to group by function, to group by company. So I just set the current search. I just set so when you click on the favorites, it will appear in here. So every time you go to the contact apps, you don't need to click on the custom group or whatever. You just click on the favorites and choose. I think it's like that. And for the view, I think you got a Kanban view like this. If you feel not comfortable with Kanban view, actually you can switch to list view as well. I believe that for the contacts that have so many contacts, 1000 above, it will be much appropriate to use the list view. I think that is for the contact apps. I believe that all of you will be understand why once you get into the database to testing. Actually, it's very simple. So what now I want to do is to let you know how to call, to let you know actually Odoo is interconnected with each of the apps. For example, like I will start from the contact. This use case is like this. I will pick the for example, I'm managing a company which is for the sales B2B, and then I want to sell one of my product to my customer. Usually, if you use the apps that not interconnected, you have to fill each of the. I mean that you have to fill each of the information separately. But in Odoo, we do interconnect. So once you fill the information in one app, it all can be used in all of the apps. So I will just create a one contact. For example, this grocery outlet is my customer, and then he telephoned to me and asked, can I send him a quotation for the product price? I just go to their contact, and actually it already connected to the CRM. So what I need to do is jump to the CRM, and then I create a new opportunity for him. Like example, he told me to give him the quotation of banana 1 kilogram, like that. So what I need to do, you can just click add, or you want to edit. And then the CRM part, I believe that this is the default pipeline. Of course, you can change according to your company business operation workflow. So in the CRM, you can see that what you got is the name, the expected revenue. For example, revenue that you want to close, maybe I expect $50. And then you fill like their email. I just use my email for example. And then you feel like expecting closing that and like that. So what you need to know in here, actually for the CRM part or most of the apps that we connect with our chatter box, I mean that the email. So you can actually send the email directly from here. Like I will now do the example, like I send to my private email in the system. Hi, can you I just send this email to the customer who want to inquiry the banana, for example. Like I still don't know how many kilogram that he want, so I just send him using the email. So you don't need to go to your email box separately to send the email. And then you can see it here. It already logged in the chatter box. So whenever if they reply, it will also appear in the chatter box. Now I will go to this email. So you see in here. I believe that Heaven. Okay, I believe that it's because just now I set it as my user. So when I send, I have to accept first. But no problem. Whenever actually the customer that they send you the message through the if you have already sent them the email and then they reply, it will mark in here. So you can see track the conversation that your salesperson or even you, what do you guys talk. And for here you have the log note, which you can log the note and with the attachment. For example, I just click on the attachment for here, the PDF that we have to use, and then I just log note. Maybe this is the requirement. For example, this is the requirement from him in the PDF. I just log in here. So you can see that you can log everything you want. And then you can schedule an activity. Actually, schedule activity is for your sales team or even yourself to manage the activity that you need to do with this client opportunity. Like you want to call him or email him or do the meeting with him. For example, like I will call him today. So I just said maybe not calling today, but it's by it's today. So you have to summary like call for what. You can fill in the information in here and click on schedule. So after you click on schedule, as you can see here, there is an activity button which will appear like one of the activities that you need to do today. So in here we have like for the future or for even the activity that has been led. I believe this is quite more useful for every person sales or even every person that using the system, because they have got the notifications in here. After that, what I want to do is, for example, like he have replied my email and I know what he want is 1 kilogram. I just sent him the quotation, and you can see actually this quotation is already connected to the sales app, so you don't need to back to the backend and then you select the sales app and then you make a quotation. You can directly make a quotation in the CRM, and you can see the breakdown here. I go from the contact to the CRM, and then now I go to the sales app. In the sales app, you can just set the validity as you want and the payment term of the customer. Because I haven't created a product, I just now create on the fly. For this creating a product, because it actually related to the inventory, but today I will not gonna show you how to create a product because this is out of our topic. So what I will create is just a simple, this is a product banana. What he want already is 1, and the unit price I can set actually. For example, I just set 50 kilo, and you can add a text here. Of course, this quotation actually you can modify. I mean, like you can customize as you want using the Odoo Studio, and also if you want like here to appear already set default, like whenever you choose a customer and you have a quotation template in here, and then you don't need to get a product. This is for for you if you want to quote to customer that the product is so many, for example like 50 above, so you cannot add product one by one, right? So in here we do have like features of the quotation template, which you choose the template and the product will automatically add in the order lines. But today I will not show you because I will just show you the basic way. And then you click save. I believe this is the quotation that I have made now. Actually you can send by the email directly to the customer. So like here you just send him, you can send him via using this PDF. And you will see now this quotation already sent to the customer, and this have ticked the V like it already arrived, and the customer have received it, but he haven't read. So what you need to do now, for example, like you have sent the quotation to him, and then he said, yeah, it's okay. He sent you the purchase order. You just click confirm. So actually, for here you can see like from the quotation sent, and then after you click on confirm, it will automatically confirm to the sales order. This means that your sales order already done. But what you need to do now is to create an invoice to your customer and deliver the product to your customer. So you have to create an invoice. If I believe that you bill the customer according to the quantity they order, so you have to create invoice in order to bill them and send the product to them simultaneously. And then here I just choose a few. I mean that invoiceable lines for invoice all of the full amount. And you can see after you click on create invoice, it will create in the draft position, and after your accounting team has review and review that this invoice is correct, you just click validate it, and then you can send and print to your customer. For example, like your accounting department, your email is like this, and you just send. You can print and send email, or even just send the email. So actually the point that I show you from the sales to create an invoice is just to show you how our Odoo apps connected. As you can see in here, I never go back to the front, I never go back to the here and click on the invoice app, but I just directly from the contact apps to the CRM apps to the sales app, and now I arrive in the invoice app. So this means that all of them is connected together. I don't need to go back to here and then I to click on the invoice. I don't need like that. I believe now I have shown you the how Odoo apps works together, and now I believe it's the Q&A session.
Okay, thank you, Eric, for this really comprehensive and detailed demonstration. And then, like Eric just told you guys can feel free to raise out your question related to today's content or topic. And besides, you're really highly recommended to contact Eric afterwards via email, or there is a link which you can click and then schedule demo with Eric. And I've also posted in the description box. Just feel free to do it, and then Eric is really welcome to help you guys to let you know more about Odoo, how Odoo works in order to improve and optimize your company and business operation. And then I think right now, as I can see, there's some question in the chat box, but I think more or less we've addressed it. So as the result, if you guys have any further question, you can send it to my email address kcn@odoo.com, and also Eric email address ean@odoo.com, and feel free to discuss with us and also schedule a demo with Eric. And then as always, if you like to review this webinar again, just feel free to click to this URL afterwards, and then after this live event has finished, and then you can rewatch it anytime you want, or you are really recommended to share with your friends or anyone who is interested in using ERP system or who is fascinated in Odoo. And then thank you all for your joining again. We will have the next webinar based on how to run a retail store by using Odoo, and we will see you soon. And don't forget to click like if you found this video helpful, and subscribe to our video, as we will have more webinar coming through and also more video for you guys to know more about Odoo. Thank you and see you soon. Bye bye.